it is very important that we should work together. And we appreciate the offer that you have done, especially when you are offering your neighboring countries, when yourself you have discovered some crude oil in this country, which is one of the precious things that God can give a country. To invite others to say that we want to expand the program. We don't just want to get the oil on the ground and then export it, but we want to process by building also a refinery. And the fact that you are also inviting other African countries to say if they can participate, because the infrastructure of a refinery is very costly. But if it is done properly, the gains from there are also very viable. And I'm talking because I have visited places where I've seen refineries which on an annual basis, they are making a turnover of about 4 trillion US dollars. And you can imagine if we can set up a refinery which can be able to produce 4 trillion US dollars, that it means to the GDP of Africa, we are adding a lot of improvement. But these things can only work if we come together and we work together. So the thing is that we need to promote business people, entrepreneurship from both sides, from Uganda, from Eswatini, the government officials, to exchange visits, to exchange a lot of information, to see what kind of investment we can exchange. Just before we came here, before we came to sit down, Your Excellency, you showed us some of the products which Uganda is able to produce. And it's interesting because for a long time we've always gone beyond our continent to look for some of these products, which one of them is just right there in front of us, which is an electrical pass. The whole world nowadays is going green, and everyone is saying let us not pollute the world, the places where we are. So when Uganda has now developed an electric bus, and we know how many people within Africa are still in use of buses and all of that stuff. Now we see them in other places, in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, America, and so on. But we don't see them a lot within our continent. And so I think it is important that let us collaborate in these structures. Now that you have developed the system of how to construct an electrical bus, let us share that information and let us also partner. You can be the producer here, and then for looking for markets, going down to the south, you can locate yourself as Eswatini becomes the location for distribution center, start as a starting point, because one has to first introduce a product to the market so that the market can really appreciate that product. And once you discover that the market is actually in appreciation of the product, then we can look at the next step of why don't you do an assembly. You start off from here and then you do an assembly plant, which will be mainly for the Southern African states, the SADC region, and so on. So that kind of cooperation we really need to build together. And we are hopeful that during our stay here, we will be able to meet as many people from here in Uganda and to see what kind of things we need to do together and how can we promote trade more effectively amongst our people. And also because countries have a lot of history to showcase. Here in Uganda you have the Nile. I also, when I was coming this side, I noticed that you have the mountain where there is a snow and people can go skiing and all of that stuff. Now, if there are places like this for to promote tourists, that if we promote tourists to come from my country, from Eswatini, these are the opportunities which you'll be able to see when you visit Uganda. And even look at ways of how to, if tourists are coming, what kind of transportation. Why don't we open up routes between the two countries, from Eswatini to Kampala? We have some routes, airlines which will fly in and out, which will bring in a lot of tourists, and including cargo as well, because cargo has also a lot of place to play in our society. So this airlines or the aviation program can look at in terms of promoting tourist attraction on both sides, excellence. Even in terms of culture, we should as Africans share the culture, because it's one unique thing which God gave us as Africans. You find culture in Eswatini, which is for MSWATI. You also find culture here in Uganda. Not so long ago, we received one of the kings from Uganda who paid us a visit, and they were showing us their culture and so on, as to how they are taking care of the culture here in Uganda. And I think we need to build on that, why don't we have like a carnival? One time we have a carnival in Uganda. The next time we go to Eswatini, we have a carnival. We bring all our societies together. They come together, they perform. And this will not just support our locals, but it has also a potential of attracting tourists from all over the world, as our aim is to not just attract local tourists or African tourists alone, but go beyond our continent, so that when they come here, because tourists are more like investors, and so we wish to promote that kind of a structure. We are grateful that when we are here, we've got to hear that companies are also being allowed, including companies which are coming from the Kingdom of Eswatini, are allowed to participate in the programs of Uganda in terms of making some contribution to the infrastructure. And we hope these companies will do a very good job, and they will always, with the reputation that they always carry, we are hopeful and confident that they will do a good job that will always be remembered, even going forward. So let us do more of these activities, work together, support one another. And the reason why we are here is to give support to the government. Since we arrive in this beautiful city, I have noticed the level of development, that since I was last here, there's a lot of development which has happened. Obviously, we congratulate His Excellency the government and the people of this country for being together, united because anything that happens in a country, it's all because all of them are united, working together. And we want to say that we really appreciate this kind of development. And of course, our program will also allow us to see more and more things. Some of the things which we are seeing here, we will be able to see them live, unlike seeing them in a picture, and so that we can get also more and more information. And we also take this opportunity. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the summit of the non-aligned, and as well as the group 77 plus China. I was unable, but the Prime Minister and together with the Minister, they were here to represent the kingdom. Since I was not here personally, I wish to congratulate you as the chairman of both of these organizations. And I am sure with your wise leadership, you will guide these very, very important organizations to greater heights, excellency.